Greetings from Krypton on this Wednesday evening, as it is very cloudy from World Headquarters. But welcome to episode number 124 of the OtherSide of the Ball. Dub and Chris, soon to be joined by a whole lot of contemporaries here in this 124th episode, and a lot of movement, a lot of things, making things very, very interesting as we are officially, folks, 9 days away from opening day, starting on the 16th of March.
Yes.
As we have
316
Hammer. Yeah. Or some would say happy Austin 316 day for those that partake in the world of sports entertainment. But nonetheless, Corey is indeed indie bound with the spike do in the front of the hair.
Yep.
Yeah, it's doing its own thing. It's raining outside. So.
It's not. It's raining by you, and it's raining by me.
Well,
Even though we're selling 2,500 miles
an hour. Shine. So
nice.
There you have it. But yet, Birds still thinks it's okay to take a crap on my car. But nonetheless, folks, welcome. Lot of movement, lot of changes, a lot of unexpected things happening before opening day taking place here, which is, of course, 9 days out.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the NFL. Never mind. Sorry.
Say that again, Chris?
I thought you were talking about the NFL, but never mind.
That too.
Who cares?
Well, apparently, Corey Hammond does not. Who last week, by thanks to his
own.
Mr. Hammond will be taking his talents to the Hawks again. And of course, my wish for you, sir, is I want you to experience a Victory Monday since you have not in the last 2 seasons.
In 2 years,
that is my wish for you, my guy.
A Victory Monday and a healthy season.
True, thank you. Now, just to put into context for people who have only been a part of this league for the 2 years that I've been at my worst as a team winning percentage, I do have over 55 victories regular season. Now, I only have the one postseason. That's a whole nother story. And I'm sure people can clown on me all they want in other areas. But it's been a rough 2 seasons. But this show's not about me tonight, guys. This show's hopefully jam-packed. I do have confirmation from one of our guests, which will be interesting. I'm waiting for confirmation from another one of our guests. Very slippery person. This guy, slippery guy, doesn't even go by his name most of the time. So you could understand that. But gentlemen, I think really the place to start, we were kind of talking about it. And I just got a message from our additional host, which will be a kind of a news dropper there. I don't know if everybody knows that, but we were talking about it in our group chat. Hey, what are we going to talk about? And then the show just happened in front of our eyes. With Vegas, there's this interesting thing that I don't know whether it's procrastination or you're just waiting for the full spotlight to be on. Most of the maneuvers that happen in the Vegas division in the offseason happen literally like the 11th hour right before the season starts. So everything is moving.
Don't let it fool you.
Exactly. We could try to put a positive spin on it and say we're talking about the bright lights out here. It's showtime. Once showtime starts, that's when everything starts to get popping. Procrastination, also a big thing of it. There's also things that aren't necessarily directly related to circumstances that would make sense for procrastination. Like, for instance, what's happening with the the team that we used to call Dem somethings, right? I can't even make that joke anymore. That's sad. But I think really the speculation starts with who is going to be this young man's main competition out there in the Western Conference, because there's been a lot of movement. 4 weeks ago, guys, and correct me when I'm wrong, 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, we thought we would come into this moment right now, and it would be, yes, sir. Not about me, guys. Not about me, guys. I know I'm always talking. I talk 90% of the show. Scott's here. Scooter Hamilton's here. Welcome, Scooter.
Yes.
Hey, what's up, fellas? What's up?
Let me finish my stupid point before I get sidetracked again. But 4 or 5 weeks ago, the conversation would have been something to the effect of, Vegas is Insomniacs, Sick, Force, and who's the fourth team? Well, at least we know who the Insomniacs are going to be, right?
Yeah.
Right?
We know who the Insomniacs are going to be, and the rest of the division is a big question mark at this point in time.
So just for clarification for our fans at home that aren't necessarily on the insides of these either group texts or WhatsApps or Snap Faces and all that kind of shit.
Snap faces.
Snap faces.
Snap faces.
I would expect Snap Ghosts more than Snap Faces, but hey, to each their own. Go ahead, continue.
So let's kind of just put it up for just a brief conversation before we bring in our first guest. Will help us, at least get his side of it. Somebody that might be bringing something new to the division. What say you, panel, on this guy and his teams? Oh, you're responding to the guy that just I was like, you're Scott, you're excited yourself on? That's a Corey Hammond move if I've ever seen it. What say you, panel, to the hierarchy of this division preseason?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, you drop from, I actually can't even remember how many teams, but down to 5 teams. You would hope that all these teams kind of pick up those guys that left those other teams to make it a little bit more competitive. Sick will be sick. They got a good recruiter over there, Mark, and a good head coach. I'm really curious to see who's going to kind of emerge as that third team, though.
All right, so Scott, you're kind of in line with saying the structure and the management of Sick will weather the storms. We can get into the storms in a little bit, but that's kind of that's your default number 2 is who's kind of always been there.
I don't think Sick. I don't think Sick changes much.
With Sick in Scott's mind, Sick being there, obviously going to be a contender one way or the other. There's 5 teams. That would leave, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, the Gold, right?
Gold, the
Hunters, and then the surprise team that we'll talk about in a little bit when we bring on our guest.
Well, but here's the thing, though. So one of the things that I'll say, I know you're saying surprise team, but let's be honest for just half a sec. I mean, a lot of people have seen the schedule. So the surprise won't be the name. The surprise will be the players, because we don't know how many of the players from the Force migrated. We don't know where I'm hearing that they're a full team. I'm hearing that OTT has damn near a full team. So we're seeing a lot of the movement going around. It's just a matter of, okay, it's any rumor, right? Until it's proven otherwise, all you can go off of is the rumor. So that's why the first week could be such a big surprise to a lot of people.
I really think once the rosters are finalized and you see that initial rosters of who went where, maybe then and there, that's where you could possibly articulate, okay,
we got a week.
That part.
Yeah.
But once they come out, I think then we might find out, okay, who possibly can, like, for example, we talk about, can the animals in the East jump into that tier with BIC and the U? Out here, who can possibly jump into that tier with Sick per se? We know where the Insomniacs are. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, as they try to make history starting March 16th. But who can possibly give Sick that competition to try to, in a sense, give the best competition to the Insomniacs out here in this division?
Well, I'll say this because I've been, it really kind of. What's up, Will? I've been kind of, interested ever since I heard the rumors about. Now one is factual, right? I've gotten confirmation that Josiah Sao is moving on up, has a contract or whatever we call it, is playing arena, so he's not playing.
Correct.
Fine, right? That's confirmed. Now, the other thing that is pretty much, from what I've gotten, is almost 100% confirmed is that a consequence of that is that Jeremy Geary likely right now is not the starting quarterback for Siquidit, right?
We'll see next week.
Yeah, we'll see next
I mean,
Sunday.
they're holding close to the vest because I'll say this in my ponderings. I've reached out to multiple players that I know are with Siquidit or thought so, right?
What's up, Jordan?
So yesterday, what's up, Cam? Jordan Davidson, everybody, changing his. Look, you saw he changed his avatar. Scott, you got a guest appearance.
Yeah,
Tell him to get his IMDb card. You got to get your IMDb card, my guy. Now you're featured on the pod.
Tell him, go follow you on Instagram.
Well, you got to tell the Instagram if you're gonna drop it. Go ahead, do it again.
So Scotty QB1.
Scotty QB1.
Oh yeah, I see your highlights out there.
No.
Now I don't say anything about children's flag because it's a small baby children's game, so you're allowed. No, I'm sure. So in my ponderings, I've been reaching out to guys. So have you guys heard this bit of news? And I think I'm going to drop it. Tierre Edwards, one of our top 50. Do you guys know where he's playing this year?
I don't even know who that is, bro.
Not playing for Siquidit. Confirmed, not playing. I heard it from his own voice.
Lavish.
So
Lavish.
Lavish T is not playing with Sick.
Yeah,
And then I'm thinking like, wait, who do they even have? So then I'm reaching out to Daniel Quinn, Andrew Luwalamana, and of course DP, who I can confirm is playing with Siquidit. Now, unless he's lying, right? I asked all of these guys, including Mark Gray. What?
I'll see DP on Saturday.
Nice. Well, you're doing the Kings thing, right? Yeah. So I reached out to Mark Gray and Darren Palmer, and I'm looking for a straight answer on who's playing quarterback. And the only thing that I could get was just this vague, mysterious, you'll see. Let me ask you guys a question hypothetically in all brands of football. If you don't know, I love this guy. This is my favorite troll so far. The 3 Musketeers guys. He's awesome. Keep it coming. Keep the comments coming. Anger somebody in the chat again, buddy. When you don't know who your quarterback is going into week 1, do you have a good quarterback then?
I know they've had a few gatherings or practices or whatever.
But here's the
call
thing.
Gatherings. Yeah, exactly.
We don't know right now, like you just said. Mark is kind of being quiet about it. All the players are being quiet about it. We don't know. We could show up week 1 and Gary could be playing. We have no idea at this point in time.
I'll tell you this. If I had to guess, he's on the roster for sure. He just had a baby. He's been playing flag. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see him at some point this season, but who knows?
Yeah,
I don't know. Of all the positions you need commitment
next
from.
Friday, I could probably take a look and see who's on what team. But at the same time, most of the stuff we'll already have talked about next Wednesday. So I won't be able to say or, tell you guys, okay, for sure, so-and-so is playing on what team and where. We're not going to be able to do that. So basically 2 weeks from today, we'll be able to talk about who showed up and played on what squad on that first Sunday. That's pretty much the way we've got to look at things.
Yeah, well, he was moving, so he wasn't in a position where he was super talkative. But let's extrapolate this out a little bit for Siquidit. If they don't have, maybe I agree actually there. If they don't have maybe the MVP of the regular season, their quarterback who, other than Scooter, right, has had probably the best first 2 seasons as a starter, along with guys like Alcya Gross for the Insomniacs, Immortals, Scott Hamilton for the Insomniacs.
What's up, Mike?
Oh, that guy. Do we still Schno though? Because you already Schno should be just a 1 letter if you're going to be doing that, Mike. Let's be fair. You merged. Don't keep their letter out. So we're talking about Sterry Codrington, Alcya Gross, and then the 2 Vegas guys are the only quarterbacks in my understanding of the league that have come out and basically been in the top 5, 6, 7 conversation of quarterbacks in this league as soon as they hit the field. There is an adjustment period. And we're actually going to talk about that with our next guest, a little bit about a guy who's going to be playing quarterback for a different one of these teams out in Vegas. And his expectations of him, his opinion of him, and then also his past in the league. But
before we forget, real quickly, this pertains to here in Nevada. Week 1 will take place at Pinecrest Academy, Sloan Canyon. So our home for the season, Matter Academy has a tournament during week 1. So week 1, just week 1, on March the 16th, will take place at Pinecrest Academy, Sloan Canyon. That is located in Henderson on 675.
The Vegas guys travel 15 minutes. I go 10 hours. That'll be fun.
Just putting out the PSA.
Well, I got you. But
it's
so
actually
because
like
I've
a
talked to
55-minute drive for me. All right.
Oh shit, that's actually not too bad. So let me just stop talking and let you guys talk, because my thing is do we have confidence that one of these hypothetical mystery men, unless it's Austin Powers himself, like who's this man of mystery that's going to walk in and contribute 2,500 yards, 30 touchdowns, and less than 5 interceptions? Because if Sikwit wants to be on the same level as where they were at, they're going to need, in my opinion, to replace the output that they got from maybe one of the most productive players in the history of the Nevada division in Jeremy Geary.
Well, of course, just let me say this, one of the things, and just going to what was Three Musketeers just said about the Insomniacs being the number 1 team. Of course, even in the NFL next year, the number 1 team is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles until somebody beats them. So, yeah, they're definitely the number 1 team. No brainer.
Well, yeah, that is a hot take. Because my thing is that until we kind of see who Sick is, I'm not just going to give him name recognition and say, oh, it's Sick. Now, I trust in Mark Gray. I know that Mark Gray knows what he's talking about and knows how to put a team together. Look at the evidence. But I'll say this. If we go by the same logic that, oh, it's Sick, they'll figure it out, then we could go by the same logic as, Scooter, you might remember this approximately 2.5, 3 years ago when the Insomniacs came back and they had never won a game in A7FL competition. If we just went by that assumption, then the Insomniacs were trash. And they just lost their coach to a tragedy, right? So things change. And when the roster changes, especially maybe this big with some of the guys, we're talking about guys that are not there that were easily put into our top 50. Lavish T, Josiah Sal, and hypothetically Jeremy Geary. How many of those guys can you lose and still maintain the level of competitiveness that they had the last 2 years is my question.
That's all part of what we're talking about, right? We can sit here and speculate from now until
that's
the
what
end
our
of the
job
season,
is for the next
all actuality. But what's going to matter, because and Scott knows this better than anybody, and I think he would follow up with me on this and say there is talent in the flag league, whether you like flag or not, Corey. I get it.
It's a bit. It's a bit. I get the talent. Don't get me wrong. It is a bit. I'm not going to quit the bit.
And so Mark is going to be able to pull from that because he's still part of that. So, we don't know what the other talent could be when you see guys that come in from the flag league to play in the A7FL, because some of these guys are actually very talented players. So it just depends on, what Mark is able to pick up. We never knew who Lugo was until he came and played with Sick. We never knew who Sal was until they came and played with Sick. We didn't know who some of these players were that he was able to bring in and get on this squad. So to say that they might take a step back, we don't know yet. I want to see what they do in that first game, and I want to see the talent that they have on the field, because right now, I agree with you, it's our job to speculate. But what I'm saying is we don't know how much of a fall off they could have. We could be sitting here talking about them being, not have missed a step and being the number 2 team in the Nevada division, right behind the Insomniacs yet again.
Well, and ask Big Mike Sims, who's in the chat. You could go 2 ways when you get that fresh new quarterback, right? You can go the Chris Peterson or whoever that guy is that he had for 1 week and then never came back after week 1 last year for Snow Tribe. Or you could be like the Animals and bring in a guy, I don't know, what's his name? Daniel Oh no, David Tender. Oh,
David Tennant,
right. So I mean, like that. I guess that's what we're waiting for with Sick. But let's talk a little bit about because I
Hold on, I
just
got
hit up.
something.
Go
I
ahead.
got
Yeah,
something to say
go.
too. Yeah, I think just being around Vegas, there's not very many quarterbacks that are similar to like me or Geary. So if he doesn't play, you're not gonna see probably a pocket passer of any kind. You're probably gonna see some type of athlete back there using his legs a little bit more. So if they do go a different route and Geary doesn't play, it's definitely going to look like a different offense. They didn't lose. They lose definitely some for sure if Geary doesn't play because people follow. You don't play this game with people you don't you don't like every Sunday that you trust in protecting you. I can say that if I didn't have the O line that I had, I wouldn't be playing this.
All right.
Yeah, well, you'd be me then. You'd
Well,
fucking be me.
Joining us,
Probably
ladies,
I wouldn't be you because I wouldn't be doing it.
joining us, ladies and gentlemen, from the Silver State Stealth. Second time he's been on the show. He came on the show a long time ago and actually brought me and Chris some very good food from Dripping Soul Kitchen over there. The one, the only Mr. DeMario Lee Hughes. DeMario, appreciate the time. Welcome back, sir. How goes it?
It's going good. It's going good. How y'all doing?
All right. So, the Stealth.
got to get back over and grab some more food from you.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Y'all got to come through and grab some food. Just let me know. I'm going to start doing some deliveries. I said I was going to start doing some pull-ups for the podcast. So just let me know ahead of time. I'll do some personal drop-offs just so y'all can have some of that, while y'all conversate.
Bless you, sir.
Well, when they were in the studio, you'd have one place to go.
Yeah.
Now you'd have to go all over.
So the Stealth, what was the idea behind it? What was the idea to bring it into the league this season? So the floor is yours.
And how late at night do you play Assassin's Creed Valhalla? Because we know. No, sure.
I'm not going to answer that question. But
I seen the logo.
The Stealth came about. Because a friend of mine, I'm not gonna throw his name out there, he thought the Stealth would be a good name behind it. He had good reasons, and at the time I was reading the book, a Stuart Woods Stone Barrington novel, and the name of the book was Stealth, and so that was a lot of reasons behind the Stealth. The Silver State, we in the Silver State. It's just obvious. So
it's alliteration. That's good.
Yeah,
you read and you're using alliteration. Nice.
And I feel like this stuff got a lot of meaning to it, so I just took it and I ran with it. As y'all know, it was a lot of ups and downs with what I was going to do and actually bringing out the team, but I thought if it'd be any time to bring out a team, why not now?
Yeah, I mean, you're filling a void, which is, I think, one of the best parts of it, right? We're losing here and there, and then we're gaining maybe something better, out of the ashes. Maybe you could be the Phoenix.
Losing an original and bringing in a new organization.
Now, DeMario, me and you had a little bit of a conversation kind of leading up to tonight. It's funny. I was kind of testing him out, see if he'd be a good guest or not. And then he just came with, banger after banger. I was like, yeah, let's get him on the show. So we were just talking about the sick with it. And with kind of the upheaval in the division, like literally like 9 days out, and who would be that team to kind of step in. Now, I'm not going to do too much here of quoting, but I think I can quote you here. I think you said, and I quote, that you guys feel like that you could be, I'm looking for it and I'm being an idiot. You guys feel like we have a great all-star team. I believe that we could go undefeated if we stay focused, ... air quotes, and then there was more to it. So do you guys feel just where you're at right now, based on where we're, 9 days out, that you have
me personally, the only team that we are worried about in our division, and it's the only team that every team should be worried about, is the Insomniacs. Great team, great program,
careful what you say, look.
Great chemistry. So, like I said, when we do our film and our study, I focus on great games. Like one of the games that I like watching, it's one of my go-to games, is that BIC and Insomniac game. that game, like, you
Not a
know,
bad one.
to me, it just speaks value on the field. So like I said, we only prepare ourselves to the team that's, you know, been leading this entire division and every other division. So we're not looking forward to playing nobody but the Insomniacs. And I'm just saying that, you know, they give you something to watch. They give you something you can learn from. And they let you know where you at with your placement very fast, in my opinion. So that's the team that we're looking forward to playing. That's the only team that we got in our mind.
Nice.
I feel like Mark is a great person. I feel like he got a good program, but the quarterback situation might be iffy. I have heard him reaching out to a couple of my quarterbacks for offers.
Yeah, let's get into that, because the next part of that quote I think is important. Is when asked, you said, "We have a great all-star team." That's a quote from you. So give us a little bit of a you know, kind of a preview, more or less,
Well, the
an
Ramses, everybody knows.
amuse-bouche, since you're a food guy. Give us an amuse-bouche of some of the things that we're going to expect to see from the stuff this season.
To me, this is football, so I'm not going to sugarcoat it with y'all. I feel like lineups should be public, just like, you know, draft day. Like, we 9 days away. I mean, we going to have to play these teams regardless. They're prepared. The top team that's undefeated, the only team that we're focused on, they're prepared for everybody play scheme and play style and players.
So Lee, you're gonna sit here. You be willing to tell us who's on the squad right now?
Yeah, who's the
Ramses? The Ramses. I didn't talk to my squad in this chat before coming on this podcast. Transparency is key. Y'all know the Ramses go anywhere I go. I brought them to the league. They not going nowhere but where I go.
So you got 11. You got 11 guys right there. That's enough for a team. No, sure.
You know, I'm gonna tell y'all. I'm gonna give y'all a little hidden gem. One of the hidden gems that I think gonna be a key factor on my team is G Hurd at running back. G Hurd is gonna be a problem. OTT not gonna be playing this season. I'm gonna go ahead and break the rumors down to y'all. It was a little merger. I took G. I took the quarterback and I said, G, you one of the best, in my opinion, runners. You know, you run heavy, but you don't get to see your runs because it's always at quarterback. So
I've always said that his best position would be like a tight end or a ball carrier. And to put him in a position where he could play football and not have to be responsible for the whole team stuff, I think that he's going to benefit from that a lot.
So wait a minute, then got G Hurd at running back. Who's your quarterback?
Tannehill, Kyler.
Another guy from OTT that last year kind of cut his teeth in the league, and that was kind of what I was mentioning earlier in the show. Guys, when they first come over. Yeah, go ahead. Tell us a little bit about Kyler.
Kyler, in my opinion, like, he's a great quarterback. I got to see him lead the Gladiators on an undefeated run. And one thing that Tannehill had a problem with was adjusting to A7, coming into it fast, and being a new quarterback into a league he wasn't familiar with and not having a great line to hold him. And I feel like if Tannehill had a great line to hold him, you don't know what you can get out of him. Like, it's just, you know, the possibilities are endless. So Tannehill is my quarterback.
Are you saying you have a great offensive line then?
Yeah, in my opinion, I got a great offensive lineman. You know, I did a merger and it consisted of a lot of Polynesians. So we got thick skin for the line, and not just thick skin that actually just sit there, you know, thick skin that know the technique and that, you know, focus on playing the game the right way, you know. I don't know if y'all know Chewy.
I think me and you use the term thick skin a little bit differently.
Yeah. So I had Chewy and a couple other players that you know, play for the Govs. So I recruited a couple of them players from the Govs, a lot of key players to put the team in the right position where it need to be. And I'm going to just leave our coaching staff as a surprise to y'all this season. I will be playing arena 8-man football, so I'm no longer a coach or any active coach like that. Silver State Self, we do got a coaching staff, and I will be just playing on a team as an active player. I won't be coaching.
So you're playing 8-man arena?
Yes, correct.
What team?
The Force.
Oh, okay, got you. What
Small
division
world.
are they playing in?
You said what?
What division are they playing in?
That's confidential at the moment. I can't release information that's not mine.
That's fair.
I'm just a player.
Plus, who cares? Who cares about the Force anymore in this?
I'm
show?
just a player. But
Fuck them. No,
once again, with the stealth, like I said, we coming out crazy. We coming out crazy. We looking to punch. I do feel like, some of the teams to watch out for. Mark. He always go do what he do. The Hunters, they looking like they coming together nice. But that's just me from being an ear to the players and then player recruitment. Nothing is final until their roster come out. But like I said, the players I got is final. Jaleel Hornbeak, real explosive.
Hornbeak is a good
Real
player.
explosive.
Real good player.
So,
Also
with the right,
a
with
rare
the right
Pokemon.
players and the right teaching, a lot of these players is going to break out into, key players this season. Big B, he's a great player. Brian Benitez, great skill lineman. We got him over there.
Fan of the show.
His technique is good. He played for the Alienators. QC, he was slept on for a long time, but at corner, nobody scored on him at corner the entire last season. And it's like little key things you got to pay attention to that. And then you got to realize maybe it was the organization or the group of people you had them around to where the exposure wasn't great. So I feel like when we buckled down and what we created down from the team and the coaching staff, I feel like we coming out punching.
So Lee, we got a question. Somebody wants to know what you think the Ramses are going to bring to the game. I mean,
What will they not bring?
We know what to the game, so that's
I
not
don't
even.
think anybody pay attention to it, and I I'm really going to advocate this season. I will just say, y'all know number 97. That buddy, oh my God, when I say every game, it don't matter if it's practice, it don't matter if it's live, he's giving me a pick. He's giving me an interception. So y'all got to really watch out for what y'all think the best linebackers be in the league, because Buddy don't miss. Go to number 97, watch his film, he don't miss. Y'all know what Keith do already. Number 45, like, he's a dog. He's been bringing his skill to the table. I feel like he had, a lot of just natural talent, but now that he's been having the time to focus and buckle in on it, I feel like he's going to be a key component this season. Down to the little brothers. The little brothers, they really blossom over the season. We have been doing over 6 months of conditioning, training. We do team gym days. So I got a team chat with everybody in the league that's in it for, gym meetups and stuff like that. But I just feel like, we got a lot of key players that's going to break out this season. And the Ramses,
you've been doing this for months then.
Give you a show every time.
You said you've been doing this for months then. How, as Dub...
You said what?
Hold on, let me make the joke first. As Dub brushes the only hair on his head. You just
man.
We gotta brush.
We got hair. We got hair heads on the show.
We had a lot of, because I run 3 flag teams, so we had a lot of players that I've been trying to build with over these entire offseason.
Yeah, that's what my question was going to be. Since you said this has been happening for months, how long ago did you know for sure that the stealth were going to be a thing that you were kind of trying to put together at least?
So the stealth was going to be something, but then once I seen it was going to be, real hard this season, I said, I'm going to go to the Forest. They got a great program. I reached out to a couple top teams. Like I said, they stacked. They was overbooked. And I wanted to make sure some of the players that's like Jaleel, the Ramses, I wanted to make sure we had a good opportunity to go to, an even team. And so we went to the Force, and, we love their program and structure. And once we seen that they were moving on to, other outlets, which is great, I don't take nothing from that. Great coaching staff. We decided that we got to go full-fledged about this Force thing, because we're not going to sell out and go to no other team. And that was just my opinion. I know we can make other teams great, but it's like certain fundamentals. If you're not willing to change that, I don't know if those teams could be great. So the only thing I can do is try to implement something that will work for a program instead of a player.
So you really just kind of were faced with a precipice and an opportunity. And instead of just kind of like letting the opportunity overcome you, you rose to the occasion and just said, I'm going to do it myself.
Oh, Travis.
Yeah.
What it sounds like is that the step, and this is why I think you guys should be the dark side of the force.
We do have a couple sick with it. You know, like I said, the stuff is coming along nice.
That sounds fun.
How are you not playing week 1?
We got a
new
bye,
team.
I believe.
I know, new team. How are you not playing week 1?
Well, that's the thing with 5.
I believe we got a bye week 1.
It's probably when they switched over, because we got to understand that the schedule was made prior, and then once the force backed out and they stepped up, they would have to redo. They don't just put the force or put them in the force's place. So that's probably why they have the week 1 bye, is putting the schedule together.
Well, that sounds like it would have been a better matchup to play them than Gold. Wow.
Well, it's what it is it's part of it is to make sure that they've got a team and the squad.
Y'all got a bye week 1 too, don't y'all?
No, week 2. But shit, I would.
No. He's making a joke. He's making a joke.
Who you're playing?
He's making a gold joke.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, y'all got a bye week.
And by the way, just so everybody sees the question that's put up here with what's everybody think about the stealth? Dude, how can I tell you
literally
about the stealth?
That's literally
who they are.
Well, also that's literally the segment. That's the segment we're doing. And question is an E, not an I there. It looks like you're like an inquisition there.
Yeah, inquisition.
Anyway,
this inquisition. But realistically, when you're looking at teams, we could talk about players all we want, and players look good and teams look good on paper until you get out and play. So my thing is, I'm not knocking anybody, but until I see them come together as a squad, which might take a few games, we don't know what they're going to have. So to ask me what my opinion is of the stealth, we've heard a couple players. I don't know the whole squad. I can't give you my opinion on what I think of the team until I actually know the team. So obviously, with me being out there calling games and them having the first week off, I won't be able to tell you. Obviously, in 2 weeks, it'll take 3 weeks.
Guys, Chris is here to analyze, not prognosticate. He's not out here trying to guess.
Yeah,
okay? He needs the data. Give him the data. Yeah, and how is autocorrect going to get to a wrong spelling?
The only team that we study for is the best team in this league.
Well,
so every other
are
team,
you so sure of what you put together with the team that it consists of? And correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of alieners, a lot of OTT, and some say that you're going to just jump these other teams.
I'm a first year team. I'm not sure if we are going to, if we're going to beat anybody. I'm not sure. It could be, it can be a toss-up. This is a crazy season, in my opinion.
But the confidence that you're saying it is that you're saying you're preparing for the Insomniacs. You're not even worried about everybody else.
Yeah, I'm not.
Like
nobody else. There's not one team that I focus on except the Insomniacs. And I mean, if you want to learn how to be great, you can only learn from teams that are great. I take nothing away from the Insomniacs.
What I would say though is that 1 week at a time. Right. I know you're an active player, so you might not have the full old man coach mentality like myself and Scooter down here.
Yeah.
But if you take it 1 week at a time, I would probably prepare for the teams that you are playing, even the gold.
No, so we're preparing. What I'm preparing for, and you can call me crazy for it, I'm preparing for the Insomniacs and out of state. That's what I'm preparing for.
But that's what I'm saying. You're jumping over teams that have beat OTT
I'm not
before.
Even worried, like Mark and them, they're a little down here in my opinion. Like
so Mark Gray and Sigwit that have beat the Insomniacs.
Yeah, they're a little down there this season. So I ain't even worried about them.
But what I'm saying is it sounds like the core of your team is OTT. Which correct me if
I only could.
Hold on, Lee, before you go any further. Now, I understand what you're saying about the Insomniacs, and I understand where you're coming from with being having that confidence in your squad.
No,
But
I've been playing
hold
these.
on.
Most
Let me
of these
finish.
teams
Let me finish.
have been playing in
Finish.
flag,
Finish.
so we had the chance to do.
My question. You're not even letting me get to my question. Let me get to
Okay.
my question. I get where you're coming from, and I get what the confidence in your squad. I would be right now roasting you if you didn't have that confidence in your squad. If you were like, well, I'm not sure, I don't know what we're going to be like, I would be roasting you because you need to be who you are. And who you are is telling us how you feel about your squad and being confident about your squad. So I like that. What I'm saying is none of us know what the Insomniac, or excuse me, Sickwit's going to have. None of us. If you tell me you've been to their practices, you know who their players are, and you're not worried about them, let me finish. I can understand totally where you're coming from. But if you don't know what Mark Gray has coming out to play, there's a question mark, man. And because they have been the number 2 team in this division for the last 3 years, or for the last 2 seasons. So
I know that.
my question is, I know you have to gun for somebody's spot. And the first one in front of you, in your mind, is not Sickwit, it's the Insomniac. So my question to you is, so you're telling me you feel that Sickwit is falling off that much?
Yes. When you reach out,
that was my
when
question
you
that I
reach
had.
out,
This is important.
just listen. This
Yeah.
is accurate information. When you reach out to Tannehill in your message being, hey, I have no quarterback right now due to some last minute changes. If you want to come over for quarterback, we're more than love for you to come try out. That's desperate. It's 9 days before your season.
That is
That's
a
desperate.
tidbit of
Like
information
that was just
that
told,
helps
like
kind
confirmed
of gauge
yesterday
where we're
from
talking
Tannehill.
about
He's
here,
in
I
the
think.
chat.
And shout outs
So
to Three Musketeers.
To me, that's
roasting.
desperate. And then like those key players like Lav not playing this season, that's alleged. I don't know about that. But I do know for a fact that they don't have a quarterback. And that is a serious thing to have in a game. Whether it's a good quarterback, a bad quarterback, you need time to build chemistry. And if you're reaching out to quarterbacks,
so I get where you're coming from on that. The reason why I was asking is because if there's other information out there, it's good for us to know about it and hear about it. Because if we don't know and hear about it, we can't form an opinion going into the season, right? So
yeah.
to
Yeah, but
understand,
I don't
Sickwit
think
really
Lee's
doesn't have
wrong for thinking the way he's thinking.
No,
because
I didn't say that he was wrong for thinking what he's thinking. What I'm saying is because we don't know what each team is going to be like on their
And I have
roster,
former sick with it.
you know what you're going to be like because you've played and you know the guys and you guys have gotten together for practices and whatnot. You know what your roster is going to be like. Lee knows what his roster is going to be like because he's got the guys together. He understands that. Every coach, every player kind of has an understanding of what the roster is going to be like. Have I been to anybody's practice? Nope. Have I seen anybody's roster? Nope. Dub hasn't. Corey hasn't. So when we sit here and we're asking these questions, it's because we don't have the insider information you guys do. So for us to ask the questions and understand what's going on, that's why we're doing what we're doing.
And I was cornering him because he sounded that confident. I wanted to get the soundbite. A, B, you heard it from him directly. He has inside information on maybe one of the issues of the teams that they're facing. But I will say this, and just kind of round out the segment. The Gold are not, according to what I'm hearing, the Gold are not going to be, and this is a stat from Cole Gardella, our stats guy, 3.7 points per game. So there's only room for them to improve. And the Hunters, as much as we could be skeptical of the Hunters, adding some of the guys that they had to defense and Tone Smith, that's going to help them. Now, where that places them, I'm not sure. And adding on offense and special teams, Savion Cunningham, I don't know where that places them, but that's going to help them. So I think what's interesting when you see a division like Vegas that had 8 teams shrink down to 5. We've seen it from Pennsylvania. We've seen it from Florida. We've seen it from Baltimore. And we've even seen it in New Jersey. When you shrink the amount of roster spots, those teams round out to be a little bit more competitive, each individual team. So it's interesting to hear And I was going to say coach, but you just said you're kind of Jerry Jones in this. You're putting it together and then kind of hands off. So we'll say manager with the accent. We're talking to a manager here that is fond of his roster, is confident in his roster. And what's nice is he said he's not even saying who the coaches are. It's up to those guys to figure out kind of the semantics, right?
I'll tell you what, though. I mean, even like as confident as he is, you can't look past Sig, bro. Like they scored tons of defensive touchdowns. They score on the 3-on-1. You know, they caused tons of turnovers.
That's what I was kind of propositioning the point, the hypothetical straw man in front of Lee. But long story short, if he feels that because he has inside information that Sikwit is lost too much to be that team, having confidence going in is great. But what I would say this is when it's time, I would probably watch film on the team that you're playing, not just the Insomniacs. They play what I would say is a more traditional style of football, as opposed to some of these other teams that kind of like, wing it and do more of a flag.
I can understand where Lee is
coming from.
Are we
really discussing the team that let me go in at quarterback when they was blowing them out and score with Jalil? Like, I'm not a quarterback. It's flaws in the team. The team I had at the time the team I had at the time, we can agree they were not on the same page and in sync, but the plays I was trying to give them, I always seen the flaws in their defense. And it was one situation where we were arguing the play, and I'm like, it's an easy handoff read. They not looking. I'm like, it's so easy. I can go in and do it. I went in and did it.
You're talking just to clarify. You're talking against Sikwit?
I'm talking about against Sikwit. It's film with me going in there at quarterback and getting one. I really that team? Shouldn't have never happened. And I agree that shouldn't have never happened. But by me being able to read their field in so many ways and not having like player connection to break down and actually do what's being told to be done, that was the problem. Now that we have players who understand, okay, this is what needs to be done, if told, we should have no issue. The issue was never reading the flaws. The issue was the players understanding the job and how to tackle them. They weren't doing what they were supposed to do. Now I feel like we can handle that.
Yeah, but you're still talking about players that haven't beat them yet, though, bro. You got players that haven't beat them yet, and you're talking about
correct.
That, right? That's kind of crazy, man. Just saying, it's a little crazy. Correct. I'll tell you what, we're focused on the goal.
But that's the whole beauty of this sport. You know, you can call it an underdog story.
You're talking about a team becoming weaker in the players that they have lost, like you are talking about right now.
Lavish is a big loss.
That changes a lot. So when we're talking about Sikwit, we're obviously not talking about the same team. So no Lavish T, no Sal. I don't know if Lugo's coming back. I don't know if Gary's playing. There's a lot of question marks when we're talking about.
Yeah, but Chris, you gotta think, bro. Mark don't recruit inside of flag football. Mark recruits outside of flag football. A lot of the guys on his team, bro, he gonna have some dudes. I'm telling you,
apparently he recruits.
That's exactly
these
what
guys.
I said. You remember what I said earlier? We don't have the roster in front of us.
Oh, come on! You keep copping out though, Chris. I want to pretend.
Do you know what they got?
Well,
do you know what they have?
If you know,
I'm telling you right now that they're going to be the second best team in the league. I mean, I'll be honest.
The thing about it is,
I smell a bet. I smell a bet.
Our whole thing is to figure out what's going on with the teams. But what I'm saying is, it's not a cop out. My whole thing is what I said earlier. Mark goes out and he recruits. He goes out and finds guys. Nobody knew. I didn't know who the hell Lugo was. I didn't know he could go get Sal.
Y'all ain't gonna know about 5 of our guys we just added. So
the thing about it is,
from this flag shit.
These guys don't recruit just in a certain area. They know people and have people come in and play for them. So what I'm saying is, until that first game comes up, we don't know what anybody has except the Insomniacs, because they're staying with a lot of their same players and pulled in a few others. So we don't even know 100% of their roster. So if you can sit there and tell me without a shadow of a doubt, yes, the Insomniacs are going to be the best team and Sikwit is the second best team, or now drop to third or fourth because of their roster, I haven't seen it.
I really think somebody should check on Three Musketeers. He can't spell any of the basic words that anybody that knows English should be able to spell. And don't use autocorrect. Autocorrect goes to correct spellings. When I do a bet, I'm saying that Scooter and Lee should bet because
we can do whatever. Because that's the only person
I think we can make it very interesting.
I'm gonna be honest.
It doesn't have to be for money.
Everybody got their opinion, but my opinion, the only team we looking forward to seeing, and I'm gonna say it again, is the Insomniacs. And I know people say study and prepare, but I studied and prepared. Most of these players, we was supposed to be doing stuff together, and then they went left. That's how I know inside detail. I know where all of these players are at. Like,
well,
I'm not,
listen,
I'm
Lee,
cool with them.
half
so I'm
of the
not
time, I'm like
people. But I know where all of these players are at. They don't, like, only people that I don't have an eye and coordination on is Sick With It and Insomniac. But those other teams, I know where all of them is at. Not a player in the loop that I don't know. And I promise
half
you,
of the time I'm on Lee's side with what he's saying. Half of the time, I think I'm listening to Terrence Howard try to explain 1 × 1 = 2. But here's what I'm going to really say. Let's put it this way. Scooter says locked in Sick, number 2. And I see a lot of the guys in our chat are actually on the same page, except for Three Musketeers is talking about something about being broke, and we're doing a bet which doesn't involve money, but good for him. Lee, what are you willing, food-wise, to offer the Insomniacs if at the end of the season Sick is number 2 in the standings?
If I'm offering something, I want a crazy wager because the wager is a hypothetic. But I want the wager.
That's the whole point. You guys keep throwing the wet blanket on the whole show.
Let him put it together.
I'm agreeing.
Corey, let him put it together.
Look, I'll cook for the entire Insomniacs. Personally,
that's like 38 guys.
Bro,
listen.
No, it's just a lie.
Look, if Sick come number 2, personally, I'll cater the entire Insomniacs. But can y'all ask what I want?
I mean, that's the next step. So,
okay, so if they don't,
let them
look,
put.
If they don't,
let them coordinate. Let them coordinate.
Okay, hypothetically, because like I said, we only preparing for the top team. So if we don't win the Nevada division, and the Insomniacs win the Nevada division, but we come second in the Nevada division, I want Scooter ring personally.
You want me to what?
I want one of your rings.
Cooking. Listen, he said
you can put whatever you want. Y'all wait. You can put whatever you want.
You want one of his rings?
I want one of his rings. If you're that confident and Sick With It being up number 2, put up one of your rings, and I'll wage whatever you want.
Easy. My rings are in my sock drawer, bro. You can have them.
Listen, this is
they're not even in a bookcase, bro. They're in a sock drawer.
This is a team player trying to feed his entire roster. You sure it's just a ring?
You're talking 38 players and plus 5 coaches. You had like 40-some guys, bro.
Y'all got to think about it. You waging a bet. It's a bet. If you that confident in the team being number 2, you should really be preparing for your number 1 seed. But me personally, I don't think it. They lost a key player. Like, Lav is one of the key players on their team that made their team function. And I don't care what nobody says.
You're acting like DP can't go. You're acting like Betts can't go. You're acting like
they can go, but
can't go. You know what I mean? They got dudes, bro.
And not to mention, we don't know what they're going to bring.
Their defense is almost the same. They lost one corner and got another one. I mean, they'll be all right.
All right.
I'm glad a team's confident. I mean,
yeah. Listen. I think the adjustment should be
I plan on going undefeated.
You feed the offensive linemen because I think you'll go bankrupt just on that offensive line. They
the
work hard
week
in and week
but
out.
How long can they last?
Eating your food? That's what I'm talking about. I don't know. Probably a while.
They got good linemen, but they go blow for blow against good linemen. It's going to be anybody game.
I think you're misunderstanding me. You're misunderstanding me. I'm saying for the bet, you should offer to just feed the offensive line because I think even just those guys could put you bankrupt because they be working hard on Sundays. They be hungry. Now, just to clarify, Scott, you're cool with the ring if it's any other team other than Sick in that number 2 division, even if it's not the Stealth, right?
Yeah, I mean that's fine.
Ring.
Only reason I want his is because it's a segment, to show. Like every time you see this, you can eat that meal and you go remember that meal one time. But it is going to be a friendly reminder to never underestimate my team, no matter what we do.
But here's the thing. Are you going to tell people the story behind the ring, or you're just going to have the ring and
I'm gonna tell,
no explanation?
Hell no, I'm going to tell that ring. That ring is going to go to the A7 page for story time. It's going to be a whole breakdown about that ring and how it came about. Because he put so much faith in the team that's falling apart.
I mean, he's got multiple rings. So let's be clear. Scooter Hamilton has no shortage of A7.
I probably want all Scooter rings. Can we put up a bet for all your rings?
No, you can't change the bet.
There's
We didn't
a lot.
even shake
There's
hands
a
on
lot.
it.
There's definitely a lot. Should I bring him on camera?
Nah, for real. But no, like I said, the Insomniacs,
I mean, if you lose to them,
like
like
nothing
week
from Mark,
3.
but I also don't take nothing from me. And so by me studying, and I actually did my homework on everything, I'm confident in what we're bringing to the table. So don't just act like I just said, oh, I'm just the Insomniacs and it was nothing else to worry about. I seen how everything played out. I heard the whispers. I watched the rumors. I seen where players decided to go.
Say that you studied all this stuff and you're in with all this stuff, and I'm good with that. Nobody, not one person on this panel has doubted you. All of us have said the same thing. We like the bravado. We like the fact that you've got the confidence in your team. The only person that's questioning us is you. We've already said we like the bravado. We like the confidence in your squad. We like the bet. Whatever you want to do, brother, that's on you. But don't try to flip it and make it the fact that we don't believe in you. We're letting you do your thing. So the thing about it is, and I'll say this again, until that first game, until you get punched in the mouth, not literally, but figuratively, you never know what how a team is going to react. And the thing about it is, I get the fact that you guys have all these players that are coming together to play under your squad. And you know your squad, and you should. But the thing about it is, I will reiterate what I've been saying this whole damn time. Now, I don't care if it is Sick With It. I don't care if it's the Hunters, because I have no idea what the Hunters are bringing. I've heard they've got a full squad. I have no idea what the Gold is bringing. I've heard they've got a full squad. Does that mean they're going to be good? Have no idea. We'll see when the game starts. The fact of the matter is, to sit here and say that we are doubting you, nobody's doubting you, bro. Not one of us has said we doubt what you guys are going to bring to the table. You have said you feel confident in your squad. We heard you. You have said you think that you are going to go undefeated. We have heard you. But you've got a champion in Scott sitting right here that has won the last 2 national titles.
He knows he's going for his ring.
That might have something a little bit different to say. Forget the damn ring, because that's just a bet on who's going to be number 2. The fact of the matter is, you got a dude sitting right here whose whole squad would probably tell you, okay, well, we'll see. We'll go head up, and we'll see if you guys go undefeated. And that's where it matters. So I get what you're saying. But once
I'll put it this way, Chris. When one was sick, we definitely got together and worked on some shit. And then it changed to Gold, just recently, and we're like, you know what? We got to execute. Whether we're playing the Gold or not, you still got to execute at a high level. But we just circled that sick game. Sick's always been the team to battle with us. Whether they gonna have a quarterback, a misalignment, it don't matter. They're still gonna be good, bro.
The thing about it is what I'm saying, and Scott, everybody who's played football, anybody who's played football, I don't care who you are, you have to have a little bravado. You have to be a little conceited. You have to be able to play this damn game. But the fact of what I'm saying is, I would never overlook anybody. I don't give a shit what level they're at or where they finished last year. Until I play you, until I see my guys go up against your guys, I would never say a damn thing other than we're going to go out there and play our best ball, period. Now, Lee, I agree with you, everything you said again. So don't get me wrong. But the fact of the matter is, when the games start and the hitting starts, we'll see what happens. And I don't doubt that you guys are going to be up there. I mean, with just the players that you already told me, I don't doubt that you guys are going to be up there.
Definitely should be.
I mean, for sure, they'll be top 5 in the division.
Exactly. Well, come on, Corey.
It was just getting too serious. I did the bet thing to be joking, and then we got into this breakdown. So, all right, we're looking past everybody but the Insomniacs. Tell me something, Lee, that when you're watching that Insomniacs film, that you see from them that you think that your team can replicate, because, maybe
composure. I'm gonna be honest. One thing that, like I said, and I don't say this, composure. When I watch the film, I actually study each person individually. And one thing I watch about, Scooter, he done been in the trenches, like I feel like when he played and he was playing against like some of the best defensive teams, he never lost his composure, even when the score and the odds was against him. Like I never really seen him losing his composure. I seen him stay level-headed, and I see the team, stay hungry and stay healthy for it. Little key things like that is when I watch teams, those are things that I focus in on. Is like, how do you handle, a rough situation? How do you handle when a team is giving you a problem, and how do you handle your losses when you are a great team in season to the number 2 teams? Like I watched him handle a loss against Sick with it and then recover from it like it wasn't nothing. Like, so when you look at all the film and you take what you want from each film, it does give you kind of like a breakdown and an idea that you can base one of your opinions on. And so one thing that I want to take from that is chemistry and composure. And, when I tell my quarterback, I'm like, watch the film. I'm like, really watch the film and study these people, study these players. I didn't watch every game. Like, I don't miss a game. I don't miss a podcast.
How do you
I
coach
might not comment
composure?
on everything. What'd you say?
How do you coach composure? I agree that when I watch the film of Scooter Hamilton,
you just got to get players that look like they naturally have it. And that's one thing that, he naturally had. And, it was certain things that he didn't have. But I feel like, he can be great. And I believe in him, and certain players on my team who don't have no name, I believe in them as well. And like I said, it's just all around like the players. Like if you watch like the Insomniac game, you watch players that come in clutch. It ain't just coming in clutch. It's like, they reading the field. They actually paying attention. Their movement is on point. Those games matter, like high intense games. I don't like studying games where you watching a game and it's just dragging, no ball is moving, there's no motion, so I have sit there and watch those games repeatedly to learn the coaching, play scheme. But like I said,
you've seen Kyler Tannehill for the Gladiators, and he had an undefeated season. Are you taking the composure you saw him demonstrate in that league, in that situation, and kind of projecting it? Because I will be honest, what I've seen
in pads, I regret it. Like even being his coach that season, I'm not gonna lie. Like I should have been like, somebody that was scouting him and trying to get him to a great team. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like his whole breakdown, everything, like his movement on that field when he played Ninth Island, phenomenal. Like I wouldn't take that from him. Phenomenal.
So what does he have to improve from his time with OTT? Because we've seen him in the A7FL.
He didn't understand the game. He didn't know how.
Oh, did we just lose Lee?
His little box is still there.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything.
When I'm talking to Tannehill, and I'm like, what do you get from the field read and the film read? He's paying attention to all teams. He's actually watching film on everybody, not just Insomniacs. He's watching film on everybody. But like I said, Scooter is a great quarterback, and if you want to learn, great techniques, you go to the best in the league. And like I never take that away from him at this point, because he is the quarterback that I do feel like is one of the greatest quarterbacks in this league that we have seen so far. Like,
you're watching
on his way to a three-peat if they get it. But like I said, when we do our film study, we focus on key players, key components, and key moments that made the game and changed the game. So,
and I hear you. A
lot of what you're saying, but a lot of those teams haven't had game changer moments.
A lot of what you're saying is just words, though, and I'm not trying to disrespect you. I'm just trying to say that you've said that you're watching, you're looking, you're doing all these things, and it's over and over the same answer. So for Kyler, what I would ask is when you're watching the Insomniacs, because when I watch the Insomniacs and I joke about it because I'm jealous, I see Scooter has a ton of time. He goes through his progressions, and he has a running game that he can lean on. What is Kyler going to have on the stealth that's going to give him some of the support that this guy has to make him look as good sometimes? Not that he's not Scooter.
Because I'm gonna be honest, a lot of people, a lot of people try to downplay the fact, and I honestly feel like, one thing about Scooter, and I've been on the field, he's hard to tackle. So that we just give it that. He's hard to tackle, and he actually got a good arm. So it's like, and he will run. But when you got that to your advantage at that size, it becomes very dangerous to other teams. Tannehill, one thing he's going to have to.
Kyler is half. No disrespect, Scooter. Kyler is half the weight of Scott Hamilton.
Yeah,
he needs to gain weight. Are you feeding him food? That is something that you can do.
We've been we've been going to the truck. Shout out Peasy. We've been going to get food late nights, pulling up on Peasy with the chicken wings. He's doing that. But like I said, he got to figure out, a rhythm that works for him. He can't focus on Scooter game and say, oh, this is what worked for him. I can take that if I have a line that can match that. You can't do that. You still have to figure out your IQ, your reads, and figure out what complements you on the field. Let me give you this,
because we've got a lot of kind of like meh, or like not saying that you're not doing the right thing. You're running an organization. You can't give a scheme. What I would say from what I've seen from Kyler Tannehill is that he doesn't understand the angles of the rush, because
everything. Chris gave us a lot of insight last season, or the season Tannehill played, on what was his downfall, especially Dub. So we went back, and I have a lot of breakdowns of just y'all quotes. Like, I screen record some of the things that y'all say, and I send it to the players when it's based on the players. And so we have a lot of good feed where he was right on point. I'm talking about, it was right on point. It was down to everything about Tannehill and what he needed to work on. And so he's one of those persons, if he hear it, he'll do it.
What are some of the things? That's what I'm trying to get.
He wasn't working the pocket how he should have been. He was only rolling out, to one side. It was little things like that.
The angles of the defensive ends coming in with only a 3-man line as opposed to a 5-man line.
So I'm not going to get in depth of that.
I would tell him, because I've been doing this for 12 years, and I'm still alive, I guess, and I don't have an offensive line as Scooter. Have him, instead of being in a full shotgun, go up to a pistol, because what he seems to like to do is, because he's got that 11 on 11 grained in him, he goes for a three or a 5-step drop. When you do that with an A7FL line, which is only 3 men, the angle is tighter for those defensive ends coming in. So if he wants to have that drop back, if he starts in the traditional 5 yards back in the shotgun, dropping back to the 8 yards, no offensive lineman, even Matt Kenny's going to be able to handle that angle. So if he wants to have that movement before a pass play, have him start in a pistol so that when he drops back, he's not out of the pocket, and that will help him a little bit more with that aspect that I could just give you off the top of my head of things that I saw. Because when you're dropping all the way back and giving the rusher a free run to the quarterback, that's one of the reasons why I thought that he lacked a little bit of success in the early stuff. And it's something that a lot of A7 quarterbacks pick up on eventually.
Real quickly.
I'm not going to get in depth about that, but yeah, I can agree with some.
Hold on for a sec. Go ahead, Dub.
Real quickly, Goat, as regards to California, we have not heard anything yet. So as soon as we know something, we'll let you know. Go ahead, Lee.
Yeah, I'm not really going to get in too much about that. And, I love you for trying to pull it out, but there's no way you can break that down without exposing some critical information. But, like I said, there's some key points in that Chris did point out, and we take the film, and we really study that film. So we have listened to all of the whispers and all of the things that could have made him great, even throughout his offseason, even when he wasn't play in A7. So one thing I will say is he has been working for it, and as far as working for A7 rules and what works for A7, not 11 man, not 8 man, just A7 rules. And so I
My
feel
own,
like he's gonna have a great season. That's somebody y'all better really watch out for. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
well,
Hey,
my
last
only
question.
feedback other
Hold
than
on,
that,
Corey.
and
Corey,
my bad.
last question for Lee, but go ahead.
My only feedback other than that, because this is more of a joke, it's not serious. When going through all of the quotes from the booth out in Vegas, maybe take the Scott McCorkle butt stuff with a grain of salt. That's just my opinion.
Well, you never know.
Got it.
But anybody have a last question for Lee?
Do I?
Anybody? Anyone?
Scott, go ahead. We got one.
Are you guys gonna be scouting week 1?
Are we gonna be scouting? You crazy. We are actually overbooked for our roster. I actually have over the amount, and we're all clear to play. So as some players, we might even have to do like one of those little rotation things where it's like you might can't play this game. You never know, but we are
That's what we do.
overbooked.
That's what we do.
We are
Got an
overbooked.
inactive list.
Yeah, we got an inactive list as well. We are overbooked and underpaid.
All right. Well, Lee, we appreciate the time. Thank you for coming on and giving us some insight on the Silver State Stealth making their A7FL debut coming this season. We appreciate the time, Lee, as always.
Gentlemen, Lee and Scooter, official bet, food for ring. Thumbs
I want
up
your
on one
newest
side.
one too.
Yep.
Well, there you have it. So mark it down at 6:42 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9:42 Eastern Standard Time at the 1 hour, 12 minute, and 31 second mark. The bet between Dripping Soul Food and Scott's championship ring. Lee, we appreciate the time, buddy. Look forward to see you on the field this year.
All right, yep, y'all have a good one.
Thanks, brother.
All right, that was Lee from the Silver State Stealth, bringing us some insight. Now,
listen, if your whole team ends up eating, they don't have to thank me, but they do have to realize that I was a catalyst involved in it. They can thank Six specifically.
I've already put it in the chat, and I even hit up Mark, and I was like, "Hey, Mark, you get a plate, bro. If you get second place."
okay, now I didn't have time to answer this because Lee and Scott and Corey were going back and forth, but
were we just talking in circles about really?
I don't know,
how much
but
we're gonna watch on the Insomniacs.
But to answer your question, Three Musketeers,
he's still
number
talking.
one. I'm not old. Let's get that particularly straight. Don't let the wisdom in my beard fool you. But number one,
I'm the one that's old.
Number one, I'm a fan of professional wrestling. Number two, I'm a fan of Jey Uso. And number three, if I want to put Yeet as my headline, I can put Yeet as my headline. So
it's our damn show. You don't like it? Too bad.
I don't know why I didn't put a headline. Fuck. You guys gotta
put
put me on
whatever you
game,
want, man.
goddammit.
Yeah, step up the game, Scotty. Come on, bro.
Last week I put like symbols that spelled out Hawks, but it didn't look like Hawks as like a subterfuge. But
I was wondering what the hell that was.
Look at it again. It looks like Hawks. It just
I mean,
everybody kind of knew. They were over on the
I-
Instagram lives talking about how they knew what team I was on and all the players that are on my roster because they went to a7fl.com and were like scouting. I don't know. Good for them though.
It ain't that freaking difficult, especially if you have your roster that's already registered. It isn't that difficult to find out.
I mean, the only thing we don't know roster wise is who the hell is going to play quarterback for the team that this guy is betting on for food. That's what I want to know.
But here's the thing, and I agree with what Scooter said. I am not going to go against Mark Gray, and I agree wholeheartedly. Sick until somebody can until somebody can beat them to be in that second tier behind the Insomniacs. I'm not doubting Mark Gray's ability to go get guys. I'm just not.
Well, and that was what I was trying to say, and Corey was giving me shit, which he should. That I was unwilling to commit, and it's not a matter.
Munch, you better stop it.
The thing about it is, my whole point was the fact that until we see who is actually on rosters, we have 9 days. until we see who is actually on rosters, we don't know. We have no idea. And the thing about it is, Mark played quarterback before. He used to be Sick-Witted quarterback.
Breaking news, guys. Breaking news. Sick-Witted and Mark Gray just called a guy. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a former quarterback in the Vegas area. He's actually well known in this league too. His name's James Bourgeois. I don't know. Coach James is a quarterback. He's just it was a joke.
Coach James played quarterback. He played linebacker. He played offensive line. He played defensive line. Known the man.
Listen, just like when Mike Tice was sitting up in the booth with us, calling Scooter on the field, and Mark Bagway and them, right? The guy played quarterback. The guy played quarterback in Maryland. Just because he played tight end in the league doesn't mean he's not a quarterback. Just because the stupid kryptonite put Scooter at quarterback doesn't mean he's not a quarterback. I mean, they put Scooter at friggin' offensive line. He was out there going in and trucking people in that lacrosse stadium at quarterback.
Let's put something to rest right now, okay? The Insomniacs, Sick-Witted, Stealth, Gold, and the Hunters are the only teams playing. There are no pit bosses. So everybody keeps bringing up pit bosses. There ain't no pit bosses.
If I own merch of your team, you do not exist anymore.
you have pit bosses and the Force, which is funny.
Pit bosses, Force, OTT.
No longer part of the division there, fellas. So it is. Look, bottom line is, just like every other team.
What is Scott doing? What are you doing?
He looks like he's enjoying.
He's like watching a freaking movie.
Honey mustard pretzels.
No, but not the honey mustard.
Mustard.
Let's go.
Gotta go the original, bro.
Let's go.
Oh, Corey, did we just become best friends?
Did we just become best friends?
Oh, wait.
Wait, I can't talk shit about the Insomniacs anymore. That's okay. That's okay. Sick doesn't exist, so hey, let's cheers. You want to cheers? Cheers.
Hold on. Let me grab one. Ready?
Cheers.
Look,
guys, I'm friends with Insomniacs now.
Lord.
It's a good brand.
Well,
we can do so many fun activities on this podcast.
Oh my goodness. We're not sponsored yet, though. So
while we're at it,
no, get in touch with them.
Hey, I have done my due diligence reaching out to Pat McAfee, reaching out to Under Armour, reaching out to whomever wants to be uniform distributors, EIEIO.
Listen, me and Scott Hamilton as the older gentleman, he's young as hell compared to me, though. What, you're 33?
Mm-hmm.
I'm 38. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm freaking Rock Briscoe old. But anyway, I'm trying to reach out to Copperfield.
Now Chris has joined the party. Oh, good.
Let's go!
Oh, there we go.
What flavor though? Is it honey mustard?
It's
no, we got the original.
Got the original.
We'll take it. So, folks, if you're out in the pretzel verse, hey Dots, we're putting forth good work for you. You could get a little commercial. Double even read it in his Howard Cosell voice.
Right, Mizzle? It is indeed a snack off with the pretzels.
Hot take. I have a feeling that the Insomniacs are going to be eating some soul food.
Sounds good to me.
Hey, you know what? We'll find out in 2 weeks, won't we?
Jordan Davidson, you're probably right, unfortunately.
Are you wearing an old school Memphis Grizzlies jersey in that picture, Jordan?
I don't know, Corey. You know, Quincy Burks is coming back.
Hey, wait a minute.
He's like one of my favorite special teams players of all time.
Jordan, where are you playing this year? Because
he's playing with the Kryptonite, a.k.a. the Stealth.
He's playing on every single team that.
He's on the Stealth. He's on the roster.
Oh, yeah?
He's stealthing it. You look like you're on a friggin' Stealth.
So he's a backup quarterback then, huh?
Nah, he's an ATH, bro. He's 6'5". He's out there just changing positions whenever.
Gotcha. Defensive end.
Did you say Jordan Davidson is 6'5"?
I'm exaggerating. He's not that tall.
Yeah, by about 5 inches.
He's pretty tall.
Well, folks, don't forget, as always, 3/16, the season begins. The 11th season of the American Summits Football League. Can the Wolfpack Make history. Find out March 16th.
See, he says he's 6'4", so let's go by basketball math. Then he's 6'2", right? If Allen Iverson is 6'1", right, then Jordan Davidson is 6'4".
This is also the guy that said that he was Vanilla Vic.
Let's not give Three Musketeers his dream. He doesn't deserve it.
So, come on, man.
No, I'm joking. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're actually 6'4". I'll measure you next time I see you, bro.
But can you dunk a basketball is the question.
I don't know.
Probably not.
Anyway.
I mean, look, he is cookies and cream.
Cookies and milk. Miz, that's the point of the joke.
Big point.
Well, did you guys know that the A7 is partnered with the Grid, and they do an A7 flag?
You want to tell us a little bit about it? We got 9 minutes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's played on Saturday nights. The Hunters are in it.
I heard they got roasted.
Yeah, they actually lost to a team like 28-6. It's never played flag football before.
Well, we know that flag and tackle are exactly the same. So.
Yeah.
Remember, Scott, remember when you were playing for the Kryptonite and the ball, and it was a fumble, and in flag, and
I stood there and watched it,
and you just saw it there, and then I threw a temper tantrum calling the game. I was like, no!
I definitely stood there and watched it for sure.
Listen, you were adjusting. That's why fall don't count. That's why fall don't count. It's the preseason. Right? You never won a fall chip, right? Fall don't count. Oh no, you did win the one.
I did win.
The second fall chip. Yes.
2023.
How about this hot take? If you were the quarterback,
I would love for you to have played flag when I was playing flag.
I'm not. Listen, the thing is it's a bit. I'm not against flag in general. I just think that the more pure form of football involves people tackling and not reaching for hips. But I got a quick question. We got Scooter. I think this is a question I've never asked him before. In retrospect, we mentioned fall. If you were the quarterback all season tonight that year, do you guys beat the Pit Bosses in that final game?
Shit, if I was the quarterback on the 4th down, we beat the Pit Bosses.
If you were the quarterback on the what?
On the 4th down play, we beat the Pit Bosses.
Oh, just on the 4th down play.
Yeah, like
was that the play he just missed RTC?
No, we blew 2 timeouts because him and Knox were arguing.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then Knox totally whipped his block. And then
Munch, you made a lot of comments. Which one are we talking about specifically?
He wants to put up the one that he's not on a roster. I don't know why that's something he wants to do, but
I think he's talking about this one here.
Telling another grown man you'll measure him is nasty work.
Yep.
What, he's going to whip out his measuring stick? Does that have a double entendre?
Lord, here we go. Here we go. We have now gone off the deep end, folks.
What, measuring stick has a double entendre too, guys? Are you guys seriously whipping out foot long things like hot dogs and shit? And I'm not talking about dicks for anybody that's got their mind.
Foot long things? You're talking about Cam. Cam ain't got nothing that's a foot long, so I ain't worried. If he did, his girlfriend wouldn't have been talking to.
Oh my God, we're going there.
Yes, Guardian.
Chris, I'm not against it. I'm just saying. Where's Three Musketeers? Somebody text Three Musketeers. His wet dream is literally happening. We are now once again roasting Jordan Davidson.
You guys are so stupid.
Yeah, that one. Put it up.
Hey, Scotty, your teammate started it. Just saying.
You started it. You were measuring motherfuckers.
Yeah, you're measuring stuff without saying things that you should be saying.
He was talking about measuring height.
Exactly. It's amazing how the one man whose mind ain't in the gutter understands what I was talking about. You two fuckers obviously just
I'm responding to Shuford, Mr. Does Donuts in the only loss he's ever had, right? Jesus Christ. That is the only loss he's ever experienced in the A7FL regular season, right? Or the non-fall, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he that is true. That is true.
The non-fall. Yeah,
and I will agree. I will agree with Scotty. If he was quarterback when they played the Pit Bosses, with Fourth and Munchie being out there, I think it would have been a different outcome.
I think if you told me at the time that Scott Hamilton would be the difference over Darnell, because Darnell's good. Let's not besmirch a very good quarterback. I think he's very good. If you told me at the time, I would have been like, I don't know. Now seeing what Scott can do with his guys, because like Shuford says, his friends are better. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Shuford. I always fuck that up. Like Shuford says, the friends are better. I mean, now in retrospect, maybe there's something to it. Maybe.
Hey,
look, we're not measuring anything anymore. No more measuring.
See this shit?
Yeah, I know, but you got listen.
But is it manly?
I think the thing to get from this is the reason Chris can easily measure is because he has the measuring stick that's a foot long, just right to go, and he's ready to rock with it. So, if anybody needed a horrible visual before we get off the show in 4 minutes, there you go.
Jordan, across your forehead. But anyway,
across the forehead. Ah, he's dead. What are we doing? This show is really devolving right now, and I'm all for it.
yeah.
Don't forget, during the season, the Mizzle and Dub show will do post game with myself.
That's a Hawk right there. There's some Hawks jersey sightings
with Mizzle. Wait a minute, Pete. Good Lord! Now he's calling him Pete. Good grief! Oh, we've gone off the deep end, folks. Oh dear God!
Oh, thank God!
Dub, plug the show. Dub, plug the show.
I'm trying to, but when Munchie comes in talking about Pete Davidson and Saturday Night Live, I kind of lost it here.
I don't think he was talking about Saturday Night Live.
Yeah,
I don't think he was talking about that. Yeah, we're really getting into the weeds.
Bino, stop it! Stop it, dadgummit.
I don't know what both have anything to do with anything.
Both.
Oh,
we're
Lord.
friends and buddies.
Oh Lord. Okay. Special thanks to Demario Lee Hughes from the Stealth for joining us on this show.
Special thanks to Terrence Howard explaining to us why 1 × 1 is 2.
Oh God.
Was anybody else's brain just breaking down as we were talking about? No, never mind. Keep going. Like I feel like not that I'm smart, but I'm definitely dumber now. Let's just be honest.
Jordan Davidson, that part. Because it would have been even more off the rails if the Asgardian from Asgard was in here.
No, because we were doing dick jokes. He would have done a boob
Shit, he
joke
better
or something.
show. He better show up to media day. God damn it!
That fucker might have showed us his you know what.
Oh boy. His Warhammer. His Viking
Mjolnir.
axe.
His Mjolnir.
Does he call it that?
No, but that's what the hammer's
I don't
name
know.
is.
I don't want to know if he called it that.
Wasn't
Ask the girls. Ask the
RT
girls at that
supposed
stinky
to be on the
establishment
show?
that he
What
goes
happened to that?
Yeah, what did
to.
happen?
Exactly. See, that's why we don't announce guests. What do you mean?
Jeez.
But isn't that the second time he's supposed to come on and he didn't come on? Ain't that 2 straight weeks?
That is.
Yep, he's
Hey,
fired.
RTU, if you're watching, if
Wait a
you're
minute.
listening, if you can
You
hear
guys
me,
are breaking the kayfabe. I didn't say a damn word. Let me see if he responded.
your ass
after.
better fucking be on. The next time we're talking about you, you can just text us and let us know you're coming on. Otherwise, we ain't saying shit. I'm
Yeah,
just
I'm
saying.
not watching another RTU live ever again.
Well,
Let's be clear. RTU as a reporter, not as a Instagram live host. As a reporter, he's got a ton of information. And when I called him to kind of get an update on what's happening in the Baltimore division, I offered him the opportunity to kind of alliterate it himself. Now, let's be honest. None of us give a shit that much that we're going to talk about it ourselves. But if we had him on, it would be interesting.
It would.
For sure. They just got to make sure they stay not suspended or whatnot, so they can maybe get a little farther in the playoffs.
Don't talk about that. To be clear, the Sin City Chaos are the only team that did not lose a game last season. Just saying.
That's true.
They might have lost a fight.
Somewhere, somehow, Matt Ryan is pulling out every strand of red hair that he has. He'd been doing too. Yeah, clap it up for that. That is of all the comments that we got from Shuford. Too much. That's a good one. Breaking kayfabe again. It was going to be RTU Tiu would be the segment name. We even came up with a segment that he could join the show and plug his own, but whatever.
Well, now it's going to be RTU non-existent.
Oh, Munchie must have a hookah with all these comments. He's definitely hooking it up and probably playing NCAA.
What'd you say? He's playing NCAA right now?
He's either playing NCAA with a hookah or he's watching a soccer game with a hookah. It's one of the two.
Soccer, huh? What's his favorite league to watch? Bundesliga?
He watches everything and bets on everything.
Well, that's very degenerate. Folks.
We were watching Real Madrid in the classroom yesterday.
What was
I believe it.
Real Madrid? That's not Bundesliga. That's a Premier League.
What's this?
No. Listen, I am not involved in any of that.
He's not wrong.
Will Franklin somewhere.
He is not
Will
wrong.
Franklin somewhere. Will Franklin somewhere right now looking at all that.
Hey, you
guys freed him, didn't you?
You see the Kermit the Frog?
To a
It's none of
championship
my
game.
business. Well, guess what? None of my damn
right there.
None of my damn business.
Cool,
just a reminder, folks. Just a reminder. Again, week 1 will take place. Oh, good Lord. Week 1 will once again take place at Pinecrest Academy, Sloan Canyon. Week 1 will take place there on March 16th in Henderson. So don't go to Matter Academy. We will be back there on week 2. And he says he's on Xbox. Yes, Chris.
Corey was frozen there for a minute and it looked real funny.
No, he's pixeled. No. Now he's looking.
He's back.
Still kind of pixelated. But Shuford is on Xbox. I did not know Munchie was an Xbox person. I got Xbox too. And
send the invite, Dub. Send the invite, baby.
This is the second year it happened too. Okay. Well, all right. Well, as Corey is buffering, special thanks to the reigning quarterback of the back-to-back national champions, the Insomniacs, Scott Scooter Hamilton, for joining us on this week's edition of The Other Side of the Ball. And Darren Palmer with a nice PSA, take care of the school on March 16th. Munchie in closing says, but that's none of my business, as Kermit starts sipping his tea live with the tadpoles, if you
really
will.
But, Munch, I'm just letting you know, it really wasn't. Just saying. Looks like tea, smells like tea, wasn't tea. Just saying.
But it was frog legs, and no, I did not cook Miss Piggy for dinner. But I will have her for bacon later.
Well,
so
we can give our final thoughts?
We should have done that 4 minutes ago, but go ahead.
I'm going to go ahead and say, Scotty, you're new. Go ahead and give your final thoughts for the week.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys having me on, and I look forward to being on the next couple of weeks, especially next week with it being week 1. I wish the Stealth the best practices coming up here in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to say a prayer for the gold.
Wow.
Mr. Hammond, if you're back in here, give us your final thoughts, Corey, as he still looks pixelated.
He's frozen. Look at him.
He's frozen. Okay.
Yeah, he's frozen.
All right, Chris, go ahead.
I think that overall, my final thoughts are pretty much this.
Yes, they did. And damn it, Joey Bosa, stay away from Santa Clara. Go ahead, Chris.
Ooh, damn. Maybe, no, I'm not going to say it. But anyway, so my final thoughts is pretty simple. And that is, we have no idea, as much as you guys do, as far as movement in the offseason. So obviously the first 2 weeks are going to dictate a lot. We're going to see a lot of what teams have, what they don't have, and what they're able to do. Obviously, with Dub and I calling games, I can't speak for
the Asgardian.
Vikings. I have no idea. But what I can tell you is when we sit back and we watch, the one thing I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt is the Insomniacs are the number one team in the not just the division, in the league. And without a shadow of a doubt, Dub and I joke about it, but we're dead serious when we say to be the man, you got to beat the man. Well, guess what?
You do.
Right now, the Insomniacs are the man. I am not, and before everybody gets on my case, because I see it all the damn time, I talk about the Insomniacs. They're like, oh, you're all on their jock. Dude, they won the damn Natty 2 years in a row. Understand that. So until you beat them, and until you are able to show who you are, not just in the regular season, but also in the playoffs, it means absolutely nothing. These guys are number one. When we had the thing go out about the top 7 teams, without a shadow of a doubt, in my mind, it is the Insomniacs and BIC. Why? Because they were in the Natty last season. Therefore, they're number 1 and number 2 until you guys prove them otherwise. So if you want to step to me and say anything, I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call you on it until you can beat the man that is sitting right there watching what we're talking about. Until you can beat his team, I'm gonna say they're number 1. So I understand where Lee was coming from, and I love the bravado. I love everything about it. But I also think until you beat Sick, they are the number 2 squad. Why? Because they've proven it for 2 seasons of where they belong. And so, in my eyes, come Sunday, March 16th, which, by the way, is my sister's birthday, so it'll be interesting to see.
4 days before my mother's.
What's that?
I said 4 days before my mom's. She's a Pisces too.
And there you go. My wife is the 28th. We have so many birthdays in March. But nonetheless, my point being is these guys are the number 1 team. Sick is number 2 until you can show what you are made of. And because we don't have rosters right now, we can't see what players are on, and we don't know what they have. So let's dive into this in 2 weeks. We'll have our first games under our belt, but what we'll also have, or excuse me, what we won't have is a stealth because they got a first game bye. So let's see what's going to happen, and then we can go from there. But I am excited about the season. I'm excited about what's going to happen. I'm excited about the potential for the Insomniacs three-peating. Scott, I'm not going to lie to you. I'll be the first one to tell you I'm hoping you guys can do it because it cements the West Coast and all the bullshit that I went through on RTU. It cements everything that you guys have talked about over the last 2 seasons. And yeah, I'm going to call you guys my favorite to win it again. So if anybody asks, that's the way it is. It is a long-ass final thought. You don't like it? Too damn bad.
This segment of Passion was brought to you by Chris Vera.
Dub, let's be real. It's our show. You don't like it being long?
Hey. As we always say on the Muslim Dub Show, if you don't like what we're talking about, change the channel.
Exactly.
Well, Jose,
I like what he was speaking. Fuck it.
Well, Jose, you can hop on the show next week if you like. And his cup. All right. Well, I think week 1, with the exception of the Insomniacs, I think week 1 will be a filling out process for the rest of these teams that are trying to mix and match and put pieces together and see what kind of chemistry and see what kind of rapport they can come up with, because as it's been said, we know who the Insomniacs are, we know who Sick are. Like I said, I'm not going to go against Mark Gray and what he can do in bringing in players to his squad. And again, like I said, I mean, yes, Sick has been knocking on the door, and the Insomniacs have been the one team that has prevented them from their own championship aspirations. But certainly here out in Nevada, it's those 2 teams that are in that tier. And if you're trying to at least sit at the table with these 2 teams, you got to try and beat one of them. which is not a very easy task to do, because the only losses Sick has had in the now upcoming their third season of being an ace NFL team, the only losses they have experienced has been at the hands of the Wolfpack. They've beaten everybody else. So again, if you're trying just to have a seat at the table, you have to beat the team in orange and black, which is not an easy task to do, and only the Wolfpack have found the code and the repertoire to do so. So with that said, 11 days will get here sooner than you think, because the 16th will be here once you blink your eyes. But excited to see what this 11th season unfolds. Excited to see what goes on in the Midwest. Excited to see what goes on in the Northeast. The Hawks returning, the Stealth becoming a new team in the league. So, as Chris likes to say, get your popcorn ready, because A7 football is just around the corner. We like to thank everybody, as we are 11 minutes past it. But special thanks to, once again, Lee from the Stealth for joining us. And, of course, Corey, and also thanks to Scooter for joining us. And, of course, as always, my broadcast colleague, Mr. Vera. And, Scott, you have a request from my co-host of the Mizzle and Dub Show, which he would love for you to come on the Mizzle and Dub Show.
Yep, anytime. Let me know. Of course.
Well, Mizzle, there you go. Anyhow, for Scooter, for Corey, who was having technical issues, which I know firsthand what that's like.
Oh, yeah.
For Chris, I'm Double A saying thank you for watching. We will see you next week for episode number 125. And we'll see you on the other side of the ball. Take care of yourself and each other. And Mizzle, I hope you're not crying like Terrell Owens as he was trying to defend Tony Romo when you say that.
That's my quarterback.
Oh, here we go. Dear God. Anyhow, take care of yourselves and each other. We'll see you on the other side of the ball. Thank you, and good night.
Night.